Hello everyone, Matthew Jennings, CX Director of Synergy Group here. As you would have seen from our social posts these past few months, there is a growing importance of unified communications as a service, dubbed UCaaS, for remote and hybrid workforces. I'm joined by Ben Avery, Channel Account Manager at 8x8, to understand why. How can UCaaS support businesses in becoming more agile by allowing them to work from anywhere?
Unified communications comes in two key forms really. It's one's a desktop application that allows you to, in this situation, is have a screen, multiple screens depending on what you need, and essentially a laptop that follows you everywhere. So this device with this piece of software on there means I can literally pick it up, put it in a bag, and take it to any given location, whether that be a customer site, whether that be a sister site, whether that be a supplier, a manufacturer. It follows you around.
Hmm.
Right? Same with mobile devices as well. 2022, at the end of the day, everyone's typically got a mobile phone that follows them around wherever they go. Even when you're working from home, you can start to see the benefits of availability utilizing unified communications, because wherever I go, this device typically comes with me. If I go downstairs because the door's knocking, I'll go downstairs to make a cup of coffee. I take the phone with me. I'm always continuously available, which ultimately means I'm just as efficient, just as effective, regardless of the location. So actually, if I'm just as efficient and effective regardless of location, then you're recognizing the benefits from a UC standpoint straight off the bat. And I think what's also worth mentioning from an 8x8 standpoint, depending on the levels of capability you need, there are different things that can obviously tie into that. So CRM integration as an example. I've got my video conferencing here, audio conferencing, screen sharing. That's great. I've got UC, but I can also tie that into my Salesforce as an example. So calls coming in, I can communicate with the customer in the right way, but actually I've still got that relevant information. So actually the solution allows you to be just as effective regardless of location, but obviously wherever I go, there's a system that allows me to continue to communicate with my colleagues.
How can UCaaS support businesses in reducing costs and improving efficiencies?
It's a really interesting question because I think, in some instances, there's businesses out there that strongly believe that I need to have all members of staff sat there in front of me and I need to be able to see what they're doing. And I think there's business owners out there that's concerned that it's gone too far the other way, and I don't know what my staff are doing. I don't know ultimately what I'm paying them for. But actually, there's tools that allow you as a business owner to make sure that that quality or level of quality hasn't necessarily dipped. So how that's then going to help from a business standpoint is that I then don't necessarily need that large office that I'm paying a monthly rent for. So, London office prices, as an example, once did a bit of research. I think it was a 20 user office and it cost about 30 grand, £30,000 a year to run. Didn't have a kitchen, didn't have a reception, didn't have a waiting area. Essentially, I could downsize that office, pay half of what I'm paying, and allow my staff to work remotely, 3 days a week. So I'm still getting that visibility and interaction within the business, but I'm also giving them that flexibility to work from any location, which means I don't actually need to have that large, chunky office space that I'm paying for each month. A lot of businesses out there, especially in the SMB space, have actually just got rid of the office completely, working from any given location. And where that then starts to help with other efficiencies and costs, as an example, is that staff are more likely to stay. Staff members can move to various locations around the country, maybe closer to family, for example. Right? But actually, they're still just as available, they're still just as efficient, they're still just as effective. They've got the tools that allow them to do the job. So staff then tend to be a lot happier with the role they're doing, and they're not looking at other opportunities because they've got that flexibility. I had a colleague of mine, and this was even pre-COVID. This isn't necessarily just a COVID aspect, but he went to his boss to ask for a pay rise, and his boss turned around to him and said, "No, but I'll let you work from home 2 days a week." And they didn't have to spend, 45 minutes on a Monday morning and going into the office stuck in traffic. They could be there to, get their packages delivered. It just made them more, comfortable, more happy. It allowed them to have a bit more time and flexibility at home. But what they didn't see was a drop in performance. If anything, because of that trust as such, you've seen more output from those types of members of staff.
Mhm.
And you know what? You're not then having to pay staff members even more money potentially because you're giving them that flexibility to fit it in within their lifestyle as well. So, you keep staff, you're not then paying that recruitment fee to pay for a new member of staff to replace said person because the job fits more into their lifestyle. And then actually what you'll also find is you're not spending 6 to 12 months getting someone up to speed. So what's the job of productivity? What's that actual impact to you as a business financially? So that's something to take into consideration. I think UCaaS as well, let's talk about another aspect in regards to saving money. It's all about saving time. Time is money, ultimately. And if I can save time, I can get staff members to do more with their working day. So, for example, if I'm out on the road, I'm traveling to see a customer, you email me, the chances are I'm not going to get back to you at least 4, 5, 6 hours once that meeting's been finished and I've finished the return leg of my journey.
Hmm.
If you drop me an instant message and I get into the car to make that journey home and I see it, I'm more likely to respond to it there and there before making or taking in my journey. So actually, from an instant messaging standpoint, you tend to get a lot more responses than an email where you typically work bottom up, handling the email that's been waiting the longest. So that time allows other people to crack on with their day-to-day activity and actually get things moving and progress, processes, cycles, whether that's customers, orders, deliveries in a much quicker fashion. So you're only going to see the benefit from a UC standpoint in that sense too.
That's really insightful. Thank you very much. How can UCaaS help businesses to better communicate with their customers and employees?
From a customer standpoint, UCaaS ultimately opens doors or avenues to communicate with people in different ways. A phone call is great, it's convenient, but actually, if you can get a video conference as an example, you can retain that rapport, you can actually build a bit of a conversation. And actually, what you can do from there is actually make sure that the other person you're speaking to is still engaged. So potentially, when you're speaking to your customers, actually getting onto video and having that more of a personal approach will go a long way. There's a face to the name, as an example. I think what it also allows you to do is work in different ways. So I once worked with a mortgage broker who looked to utilize video conferencing and screen sharing capabilities
Hmm.
so that when a husband or a wife or two partners, as an example, are working in two different locations, they could both jump onto the conference, review the mortgage documentation together without having to leave their jobs early to get into the office. So it's a lot more convenient for them. That then quickened the sales cycle for the mortgage broker because ultimately he's not waiting for them to find some availability over the next 2 weeks. He can do it there and then, be really transparent with what they're doing, and make sure that actually they're a full understanding and both people are engaged. So just in that example alone, it helps you communicate with your customers in different ways, but naturally it's going to have benefits in the back end because it's streamlining a lot of those processes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Ben, can you explain to me why UCaaS can help businesses improve their customer service?
The way that UCaaS effectively helps businesses improve their customer service, and I think actually, it's a feature that's kind of overlooked a lot. I think presence is a massive aspect that people need to take into consideration. And real-time presence is the key one. Right. Say, for example, I receive a call from a customer. I'm relatively new into the business. I don't know the answer to their question.
Hmm.
If I've got the ability to go and search a team or search a certain person to find out whether they can jump into the conference to support me, then presence becomes invaluable. Because in the good old days before unified communications, you put someone on hold, you'd call them up, and if you went through the voicemail, bang, you're on to the next person. You're calling around various parts of the business to find someone that can potentially support you if someone's available.
Hmm.
So presence then straight away gives you an indication, look, right, Matthew's actually available to jump on this call and support me with the customer. Take it the next step. We can flip that into a conference, straight away jump onto a video conference, get the screen shared and potentially review in real time and actually, utilizing our eyes instead of the customer describing it to us, what the actual problem is, ultimately leading to a quicker resolution. So straight away, instant messaging in the presence allows me to find the right people. What it also does is give me access to information. Maybe we've got customer channels or chats within our tools that allow you to go and search whether that question's previously been asked. You know the question, and then you're building up your knowledge base yourself. So that new member of staff, once again, is gaining that experience, but more importantly, they're getting the right answer to the customer.
Hmm.
Because it's all about first call resolution. So if I've got tools that allow me to communicate with people and actually find the right person actually when they're available, that's only going to have a positive experience on the end customer.
Brilliant. Completely agree. Thank you, Ben. Why is UCaaS a great way for businesses to future-proof their operations?
I think what you need to look at here when you're talking about how you future proof the operations is two aspects. The type of system that you're ultimately going for. And it has to be cloud. And the reason why it should be cloud is that cloud continuously evolves.
Mhm.
Vendors, the second reason that I was going to come to, an 8x8, for example, continuously innovating, adding new features and functionality.
Mm.
They are added into the platform. Okay, a lot of the times they're features just to change and adapt certain things. There's no cost associated. Sometimes there will be features and functionality that has a cost associated, but you can pick and choose the bolt on those pieces as you wish. The point is that the system continuously evolves. 8x8's roadmap continuously evolves. Our development continuously goes forward to
Mm.
make sure that customers have access to the latest, greatest features. We've got a research team that ultimately are there investigating the trends on a day-to-day basis. We've worked with a large number of third-party consultants that review our marketplace to make sure that the capability that we deliver, and it's not just relevant today, but it's going to be relevant to that business over the next 12 months, 36 months, 60 months, as an example. So unified communications continuously allows you to evolve your system as and when you need to suit your business needs. Because let's be honest, the business you are in will change over the next 5 years, whether that be products, services, additional revenue streams, or other aspects that you bring in. The system needs to be able to adapt. And I think the bit that ties in quite nicely with that, though, is that as long as the features and functionality are coming along, that's great. But actually, how easy is it to deploy? How easy is it to add on to a user's capability to make sure I'm leveraging it? And what the real benefit that you've got is that working with an organization like Synergy Group, as an example, they're continuously, reviewing that roadmap. They're continuously engaged with us as a vendor to make sure that they're up to speed, not even up to speed, but beyond up to speed. They're product experts. They understand how to support it. They understand how to deploy it and configure it. So actually, the guys at Synergy would be really well placed to say, look, this is what's coming in the future. This is what we're seeing happening in the marketplace. If you go with a system like 8x8, that platform's going to continuously evolve with your needs.
So there you have it. To see more on how UCaaS can help your business be more agile, and even more importantly, discover how your business can benefit from our voice solutions, please subscribe to our videos on our social channels, LinkedIn and YouTube links below. Or alternatively, please get in touch with us via our website. Thank you.